YouTube the day before. So if you're interested in hearing this forecast before everybody else, join my members only section. So today we have the moon in Gemini, sun in a couple of hard aspects. Sun is in a semi-sextile to Saturn. It's also in conjunction to Mars, which is retrograde in Pisces. Oh boy. And then we have a Mercury Venus semi-square. So we have multiple hard aspects here to contend with. So we know that, excuse me, we know that when we have multiple hard aspects, we're sifting through different layers of conflict. We may have different sides of ourselves, different needs, needing to come into some kind of balance or agreement. We have a misalignment here between what we feel like we should do and what we want to do. That is the Sun, Saturn, Sun, Mars, difficult stuff. So if we're not referencing, not respecting these different elements of ourselves, these different needs, our need for self-expression, our need for order, and self-control and discipline, and also our need to defend ourselves and to assert ourselves. If we're getting the balance wrong, then we can end up feeling blocked, humiliated. We can even act out because we have Sun in conjunction to Mars. We can act out in a way that at the time relieves a frustration because we can feel unseen, unvalidated, left out. But if we do act out in a very knee-jerk way or in a way that isn't taking into account that tomorrow is another day, if we're too impulsive in an effort to protect ourselves, this is where we get into apology territory. We can really feel like we've lost ground. And what we were doing is we were using force, or we were acting out of turn or impulsively to gain ground. So within conjunctions, we have to be very mindful of the snap, the overcompensation that happens when we come to a point and we snap. And we're like, I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore. That is the energy of the day. We also have a Mercury Venus semi-square. So this is interesting because we have a milder conflict here between thinking and feeling. So the layers of ourself that are about enjoyment and correct discernment, getting our work done as well. So we can feel like we're not happy at work, we're not happy at play. We have to be mindful of cutting corners and finishing things. That also is going to be very helpful when it comes to the Sun Saturn difficulty and Sun Mars stuff. If we can dig in and push ourselves, not allow others to push us, assert ourselves correctly so we can feel like we have the room, the boundaries to push ourselves to, have some reasonable expectations of ourselves that don't make us feel like we've put ourselves in jail or into a timeout. That's where we get the retroactive stuff with the in conjunction. We snap back and it was too much. So we don't want to allow ourselves to be pushed, and we don't want to push ourselves too much. We have to get the balance right there between self-expression and self-expectation, and figure out where are we misaligned here with head and heart. That's what these hard aspects between Mercury and Venus can show us, where our desires and our mind, what we think we should be doing, Where are they needing to come into some kind of agreement here? So there's a few things to think about, and some self-control that needs to come into being here. Don't look outside yourself with this in conjunction from Sun to Mars to see who is it that has made us do things that were beyond our time or our capability. Look at yourself and see, why did you agree to something, or did you put yourself in a position to something, or did you not say no? What did you have anything to do with it? Did you have anything to do with taking on something that you either don't want, or it's too much, or the time is not right? And how can you assert yourself now in order to regain that ground so you don't feel like you have to continue with the course of action where your heart isn't in it? And the more you continue with it, the more grumbly and resentful you become, and the more shoddy our work is. And eventually, our work can express our resentment, or our result can express our resentment. And then we end up with a failure, or we end up turning our work with a big red angry face written on it, and everybody knows exactly what we were feeling, and we should have just been honest up front. So make the best of it. I'll see you guys tomorrow.